Good morning. I want to speak to this, and this, the whole second chance hiring. Let me just say that it is one of those things that I was very apprehensive about at first. Okay, and then I found that a lot of our traditional means of hiring weren't working in the marketplace, and so we decided that we would start with some Rutherford County Work Release Program, which is what I'm going to talk about today. And basically it is people who are incarcerated, and they work with the program there to let them come out and work in other areas in Rutherford County, okay? And we have had as many as 6 at one time at our facility. And I will say this, it has been a great program for us, a great program for the inmates who have eventually come out and become full-time employees of Schwan Cosmetics. So that's the program that I'm going to speak to today, and as we go through here. So the other one that we are going to talk about is ProjectReturn, and Betty's going to speak about it and basically the specifics of that program there. You can do that for me too. What I want to talk about is how to really make it work, because there's some perception barriers that, so to speak, with that. I told you I was a little bit negative about it at first. You have to be open to thinking non-traditionally, okay? Not going through either an employment agency or doing your own recruiting. And I just asked you this question: how is traditional working for you right now? Okay, yeah, it's not. So I think we have to change some of our traditional thinking with respect to that, and that's the first step in making a program like this work. Train existing employees on the program and the expectation, okay? The reason you train your existing employees is you're going to be integrating these employees into your workforce, and but we want to make sure that we've trained them on the do's and don'ts of the program, okay? Very important. Train all your managers and supervisors and provide a program contact information. Usually with this, Lieutenant Peralta is the one who heads up Rutherford County Work Release Program. He is just absolutely excellent to work with. And we provide all the supervisors the contact information if something does go wrong in the middle of the night or sometime during the work day, okay? Create a diverse and accepting culture for all employees. Here's what I will say. It doesn't matter what it is, being inclusive makes your team stronger, okay? And the issue that we have with this, and this is one that's very near and dear to me, is treat the second chance employees with value and respect. They're not a project. And I will go so far to say as the difference between these employees and everyone else in the workplace is some of these guys got caught doing something, okay? And I tell my kids, you're one bad decision away from impacting your life. One. And these folks have made that one decision, okay? They're trying to get back, and it's a great opportunity for them, because here's what I will tell you about every employee that we've had come through the work release program. They have been super, super appreciative of the opportunity. Because a lot of people can't get past their traditional thinking, okay? And they have been great employees, really willing to work and put forth the effort. And I know some of the employees, and we try to target employees that live in the Rutherford County area in the program if we can, because we want them, we're thinking long-term, invest in the second chance employees for long-term. We're not looking at them as working through the work release program. We're looking at them as working through the work release program, getting out, having support structure in the Rutherford County environment close to where we work, and then becoming full-time employees of Schwan Cosmetics. okay? So it's not a short-term project in how we're looking at it. And assign the second chance employees a coach, a supervisor, someone that they can go to if they're having problems, if something's not going right. Who is the team leader? Who is the supervisor? Who is the coach that they can go to get that corrected? Next slide. Any questions? I meant to tell you, any questions you have, feel free to raise your hand and we'll address them, and we'll also talk about them at the end as well. So, anybody have any questions? Okay, perfect. This is a slide that we gave all of our employees at an all-employee meeting, okay? And basically, we started out with 2 employees through the Rutherford County Work Release Program. We met, and this is during an all-plant communication meeting where we review the financial results, safety results, quality results, so it's not just focused on this, but we spent some time talking about it because it's a new initiative, and people were going to see employees coming in with ankle bracelets on, okay? And so we needed to tell them what to really do, what to expect, how to handle that situation, okay? So this is the quick training we went through. These employees will be just like any employee at Schwan Cosmetics, other than, and these are program rules, these are not our rules, okay? They're not permitted to smoke or use any controlled substances, okay? Now, I'm not a smoker, I don't like smoking at all, but we do allow our employees to smoke. But the second chance employees, the program says they're not allowed to smoke. They can't do it when they're incarcerated, so they can't do it as part of this program. They're not permitted to leave the premises. I mean, literally, if they go too far, their ankle bracelet will go off, and we'll get a call that says, hey, you're getting close, you better get back in, right? Not permitted to have visitors. Not permitted to have contact with others via phone or internet. They're not permitted to accept gifts from any employees. And, here's what about people. People care about other people. And these folks come in here. The ones that are the toughest for us is employees at our facility feeling sorry for these people and wanting to do something for them that and really it's not good for them because we don't want them to get kicked out of the program. All right? We want them to continue through, fulfill their sentence, and then become full-time employees of Schwan Cosmetics. And obviously, they're not permitted to accept gifts from any employees. We do like Christmas gifts and things like that we give our employees, and we have to give that to the Work Release Center, and they'll give it to the employee. So that way there's no, hey, I want you to do this for me. And they're not permitted to drive a company vehicle. And this one right here, I think, is the most important. This is what we really wanted to train and leave our employees with, is they'll be treated respectfully as fellow co-workers during their employment here at Schwan Cosmetics. They may have an ankle bracelet, they may not be able to smoke, but when it comes to promotability, and we've had people in the work release program they come in as an entry level and get promoted, and they stay and finish their sentence and come into our program, come into our workforce at that job level. So we want them to, just as in any inclusive workforce, we want them to be treated with respect, okay? That's the Rutherford Works release program, and again, these are employees who are still incarcerated, okay? And they're working in our facility. Once they serve their sentence, they're allowed to come out and accept a job with us, or they can go anywhere else as well. Questions on that program before I hand it over to Betty?
So when they're finished with their workday, they just go back to jail where they are? For the
That's correct. They get brought to the facility, and they get picked up from the facility. As a matter of fact, we kind of joke about this. The attendance is the best of any employees we have in the building.
How far do they travel? How far would they take them?
I know they do all of Rutherford County. I don't know that they do outside of Rutherford County.
Do you know if any other, work release, would say does outside of Rutherford County?
I do not. I've just worked with Rutherford County on this program, so.
Stewart County does it, I do know that, because they had big articles.
Because I have a client in Nashville, they moved their facility just so they can hire second chance. And of course, they still have struggle.
Yeah.
So I didn't know about this here.
They may have a Davidson County work center.
Okay. I mean, that's interesting.
Yeah. Lieutenant Peralta, you can contact him at the, in Rutherford County. I don't have his contact information with me, but he would be the one I would recommend contacting.
Oh, I'm sure I can find it.
Yeah.
Is
Yes,
it the
ma'am.
Rutherford County Corrections Office? What is the actual, is it Rutherford County Corrections? Is it?
Or the sheriff.
It's
the
the,
sheriff.
it's not the sheriff's.
No.
It's the correction.
What's Peralta with?
He's with the work center, not with the
Work
sheriff.
center,
So they're
okay.
on Church Street, right off of, Church Street in Murphy's.
Right before the Heritage Farms or whatever it is that?
No, right across, I think it's a car dealer over there. It's a
I think their address is 640 Broadmoor.
eight.
Or
No,
there
it's
you go, there's the
2840
address.
2840 South Church Street.
That's exactly what
Any other questions about the how of the program or the why?
Is it strictly day shift
No.
hours? It
Yeah.
can be,
It is not.
It's not.
You just have to notify them, and they'll even allow for, if we're gonna work overtime, as long as we let them know in advance, they are very, very adaptive. Right now, most of our employees are actually working second shift, because that's one of our more difficult shifts to fill.
Do you know if they let the ones for the work center go through a staffing agency?
They know, everything they do is through the work release program itself.
So, customer work release?
Yeah. We have even gone so far as when we had a lot of work to do and couldn't get enough, we have actually taken work to the work release center and allowed all of the inmates there to do some of the handwork that we needed.
That's good.
Yeah.
That's great.
And I'll say this about them, not just to brag on them in the program. They did the work, but the biggest question they had for Lieutenant Peralta was, hey, did they like it? Were they pleased with it? These folks really are looking for an opportunity to get back into society and be able to contribute in a positive way. All right, Betty?
I kind of just want us to end on what he just said. I mean, that really sums it up. They really are looking to get back into society and live in a positive way. And so I really applaud Schwan as a company that exemplifies a mindset that is positive toward human possibilities. It just makes us excited. I'm with ProjectReturn, and really the biggest difference between what Bill is talking about and what I'm talking about is that we are working with people after they've been released from prison. So it's not work release, it is, they are living freely. About 2/3 of our folks are on some kind of supervision like parole, but they are living in our community, and we are a reentry services organization focused on post-release. ProjectReturn is a nonprofit, but try to get that charity mindset out of your heads a little bit for this, because we're like that little terrier that thinks it's a Great Dane. We run ourselves as a business, and to the point that really under our nonprofit umbrella, we run 3 small social enterprises that are revenue generating businesses that fuel our work. The difference, I guess, is that we put all that money back into doing the programs and the coaching and that sort of thing. But I just kind of want to say at the outset, yes, we're a nonprofit, but yes, we're also business minded about this. We've been around since 1979. Those are our 2 faith leaders who were the founders of our organization. And I suspect they founded it out of frustration and anger. They were doing prison ministry, and then they were seeing people get out of prison and fail because they were wildly excluded from any possibility or opportunity out here and could do nothing but fail, really. And so Reverend Weisinger and Reverend Barnes started this with the idea that people should have the opportunity to live their best life. So we are solely dedicated to that population. If you weren't bad enough or you didn't do enough time, I won't serve you. Like, we really have that eligibility criteria that you committed a felony or a serious misdemeanor and did time, and were recently, if not just yesterday, released, and you come to Project Return and we get busy. We have developed a national reputation for ourselves over the last decade or so, largely because of our high volume, our high impact, our innovation, and our growth. We are now located also in Chattanooga, but really ought to be in every urban area. There's enough work to go around. So there's, if we're there and someone else is there, well, that's better for the folks that we serve. Everything we do is centered on employment, and so that's really why I'm so excited to be paired with Bill on this panel, because I'm excited about his company and what he does, and it's after this panel that is really going to be exciting for us, because we have motivated job candidates. We will have about 600 new people come through our program this year alone. And so I think what we hear from employers, and I've been doing business development in Chattanooga over the last few months. Amanda is here, she's with Project Return, she is our business development specialist here in Nashville. And really what we hear from employers is, like never before, this great need for a workforce, and the need to be innovative and creative and think new ways about it. I don't know if this is a sensitive or insensitive thing to say, but we've all hired millennials or Gen Y or Gen X. Hiring people who've been formerly incarcerated is easier, I'm telling you. Sorry, no offense. Project Return as an organization, here in Nashville, we have about 45 regular employees, and we hire our mission. So I'm thinking right now, 25 to 30% have a conviction history. We all work alongside each other. Members of our leadership team, members of our board of directors, conviction history, management, down to our transportation coordinator. So it's infused in our company, and this idea about mad respect for everyone is real, and it really does work. So we're trying to live that ethic that we're also trying to do in the community. But what we are offering to the people we serve is the opportunity to gain employment, to advance in employment, to retain employment, to succeed in employment. Our vision is a full and free life. Free life means prison, I'm done with that. And a full life means I can sustain myself. I have my own economy. I don't have to resort to X, Y, or Z, and I'm growing in my work. I'll add as one sort of little thing to what Bill said. There are some companies elsewhere. There's Johns Hopkins Medical Center in Baltimore. There's Butterball Farms up in Michigan or Wisconsin. I'm blanking on that right now. But there are companies that have been doing this for years, and they have at a large scale, and they have longitudinal data, and their data shows us the gratitude that Bill's referring to, because they can compare their employees who have former justice involvement to their employees who didn't, and the ones who did actually have better stats, better retention, better performance. It's astounding, and kind of hurts I'm not formerly incarcerated, so it doesn't make me look good either, but I'm just saying that the stats bear out the sense that we have about people's loyalty, their gratitude. Another difference, because we are post-incarceration, they're not all going back to the same place. Our folks right now, the last time, we run vans and we drive people to and from work every day, 24/7. And I like to hop on and drive a route now and then just to be in it. And the last route I drove, I started from Project Return, which is downtown Nashville. First went to the Mission, picked up 3 men, this is late at night, picked up 3 men there, then drove to a halfway house who we partner with and picked up 2 people there. And then my third stop, I'm just following my route from my transportation guy who's brilliant, and it's dark and it's getting darker, and he has me pulling over at the side of the road, and there's a culvert, and out of the dark, out of the culvert, comes a man with a little pack and gets on the van. And I like to say, to get out of the culvert, you gotta get out of the culvert. So all of those folks get on the van, we take them to work, and then we drive them home at the end of the shift. So it's a little bit more dynamic than a work release program where they're all coming and going at the same place. But that's part of the need for our work, is that we are able to bring people to where they need to be to help them get out of the culvert, if that makes sense. Let's go to the next slide, maybe. Okay. There are really 2 ways that we work with employers. And let me back up and say, our large teams are all around the services, because you can imagine, you get out of prison yesterday, you might have a few dollars in your pocket and the clothes you're wearing. You don't have no ID, you probably don't have job prospects, you may not have a place to go live. You may not have family that is connecting with you at that time. You may have old friends that you could connect with and don't do it. So all those things that come together, of course no phone, which, I mean, it's hard to imagine, but no food, it's really a destitution that is difficult to imagine. So when they come to ProjectReturn, we have scores of people who are meeting those needs, getting one-on-one with people, operating with the fierce urgency of now, and wrapping around them with signature services. People get out with maybe 3 days of their prescriptions. That's not gonna work, so we run to those CVS or the Walgreens and get 30 days for them. Just all the things that maybe I wouldn't have thought of, or you might not think about, but the services is really the bulk of our work. But we also have business development and workforce development, and so there are essentially two ways that we come to you as an employer out here and talk about how we can partner. One way is direct hire. You're like, hey, I'm ready to hire people. I would love to talk with you about how you can line up with our business model and line up with our HR department and how we do things, and how I as a company can get candidates from you. And so I kind of flipped the I and you there, but basically really lining up with your company, what your needs are, and if you want direct hire, then that's what we're here to talk about. The other thing that we offer, which frankly is, I think, the better option for a variety of reasons, but it is our own high-quality staffing company. Since we started in 2013, by now we have ourselves transitionally employed about 1,700 individuals, men and women, who just got out of prison. And you may be thinking, I'm not sure if I want to hire that person right now, and we understand that. We're thinking, this person is worthy. We want to wrap around this person. We want to hire this person. We want to do everything we can to make sure that person succeeds. And so we hire people ourselves. We contract with employers who need workforce, and we staff your site. We sleep with one eye open. If you get an issue at 2 a.m., Janie seems to be nodding at the wheel over there, like, call us, and we're coming to your place, because once we partner with an employer, yes, our mission is about that transitional employee, that person that we exist to serve, but our commitment is also to you as an employer, saying we are obligated to make sure you get what you need, and we'll do everything that we can. So back to Janie, you know, we'll work together. If Janie, I mean, we can come to your site and get Janie off the shift and take care of that, but going forward, you can be like, it's too much with Janie, we can't do it. Or you can be like, how can we make this work? And so ProjectReturn will work with you as our employment partner to navigate that. But what you can always know is if ultimately Janie, you determine Janie doesn't work for you, we'll get you someone else as soon as we're able, but also you can know that we're gonna look after Janie. We're gonna find another place for her. We're gonna take care of her. We're committed to her. So that's a value that's you're not gonna see in the staffing contract, and we're probably not gonna hit on it a lot because it's a lot about the shifts and the hours and the job specs. But you can also know that we're all about Janie, which is important. So I'm trying to think of what I missed here. And so we're paying our people, they're gaining real world experience. This is a model where we may be staffing your second shift with 5 employees. And so we drive them to and from every day. It's a chauffeuring service that we think is essential for the people we serve, for the reasons I mentioned previously, for one thing. But it also gives us bookending on their day. So we can, I mean, it's nothing like it for me. I can tell you, when they hop on the van, they've got their little lunchbox. I am on a mission right then. Like, this is precious time. We pick people up after the shift, and they're talking behind me, or whoever's driving, about how that shift went. I mean, these are coachable moments for us. We have coaches back at the office. We do job site visits. So really, we're attending to them. But when they come on the site, they're coming in to be a part of your work crew, part of your shift, to answer to the supervisor of that shift, that thing. So it's really a real world experience for them. Yeah, I'm trying to think of what else. Oh, I should specify, we intentionally are not doing attempt to hire. Having said that, so how we judge the success of our staffing company is the aftermath. And so for let's take Johnny, because we already talked about Jane. So Johnny works for your company as our employee for whatever the arrangement might be, 3 months. and then you decide, you know what, Johnny is fired, I'm gonna hire Johnny, I wanna hire Johnny. So we work together to make sure that that can be so seamless that the next day he is your employee, or however that works. But the success for Johnny is not judged by the fact that he went to work for you. The success for Johnny and for our program would be if he went to work for somebody else. The idea is that Johnny has had the opportunity, we have coached. He has succeeded, and he has propelled himself into regular employment beyond our staffing company, whether with you as the transitional employer or with another company. We do have a partner here in Rutherford County, a large employment partner, and not all of our people go to work there at the end of their transitional time. A lot of it is, frankly, the transportation piece, because we're driving them to and from work every day when we're when they're our employee. When they're not our employee, currently we don't have a transportation solution. So that can often be the one reason that they don't. So anyway, the success, the reason we work with Johnny is so that Johnny moves on from us. And then we support him. We also have a job retention program where once somebody, the day they start at an external employer, is the beginning of a 12-month job retention program at ProjectReturn. Again, all about services and support, but next level services. Like they have a paycheck, they can buy food, but we talk to them a lot about financial literacy and household budgeting. I don't know about you, but that's a lifelong pursuit. And things like maybe you have an opportunity to reunite with a family member, and we can work with that. Or maybe you're now looking at a lease application, we can help with that. So it's next level issues, but also always staying employed, advancing employment. My favorite job retention question is when somebody comes in with a bewildered and maybe even nervous look, and they say, I got a question, and we're like, what is it? And they're like, well, my employer says that he wants to give me a promotion. And they're like, what should I do? How is it? But this is a new experience for someone, and we get to say, let me tell you why that's a good thing. And so that these are people who are trying to make their lives work. We have such a reputation here, like we are all about work. So what you know is that when people cross ProjectReturn's threshold, they don't come there for a handout, like because it's not gonna. We're gonna be like, we gotta get a job, So that is a reputation that we're able to parlay when we're working with you all. So yeah. Anyway, questions? Yes.
How are people accepted into the program?
Pardon me?
How are people accepted into the program?
That's a great question. We try to make it as low a threshold as possible. While we're serving people post-release, we do go into prisons and jails all the time. We weren't able to do it during COVID, but now we're back in. And so at that point, we're just saying to people, just come to us, get started. And so it's a very low threshold. They can write to us from incarceration, and we can get them sort of signed up with a file so that when they walk in, when they get out, that it'll be ready to go. But it doesn't matter, and there's no appointments required. We're intentionally not a clinical model. The one thing that people have to do, or that really that world of service and employment doesn't open up to them, and that is to complete our 3-day job readiness curriculum. It runs every week, Monday through Wednesday. It is soft skills, soft skills, soft skills. And then that becomes the collection of tenets that we then refer to for the remainder of our time with them, because it's things like attendance and timeliness and communication and etiquette and those things. And so if someone comes to us and doesn't complete those classes, all of this other stuff doesn't open up for them. So it's really an implicit kind of requirement.
Is it just 3 days?
The curriculum is 3 days. That's so we can get them to work by the end of the week.
Okay.
Yeah, it's jam-packed. Yes,
Are there particular types of offenders that you don't work with?
there are not. Yeah,
Okay.
absolutely not excluded. It doesn't matter how much time, how many times, what it was. The only really restriction is if you got out 12 months and a day ago, you timed out to start with us. We want people to come to us as soon as possible after they get out, because bad things can happen.
Right.
And let's get ahead of that.
Right.
Even when people get to us, you gotta know that if they walked up to us from the mission, they've already passed up some bad opportunities to come to us. The motivation is real. But anyway, if they've been out for more than a year, we just say that's our cutoff for starting. Otherwise, we'd be overrun with people. I mean, so many people in this community, every community have incarceration backgrounds, so, yeah. But to your point, it's meant to be inclusive. When we were started in 1979 by these two visionaries, they were about children of God. And so we gotta be too.
Right.
So it's a good question.
Is the program, and you're saying the male and female?
It is, absolutely, yeah, and really our demographics tend to line up with the prison population. Like right now, the latest stats on race is it's about 35% African Americans incarcerated, which by the way is double the state population of African Americans. But in our office, we have about that amount of African Americans participants. About 30% of prisoners in Tennessee penitentiaries are women, I believe is the latest stat, and that's the same with our program, so it does kind of line up. We love working and partnering with halfway houses. Obviously, that's a lot more stable place to stay than the so-called culvert. So we have, if you're involved with social efforts around town, we do love to partner with other nonprofits. It really makes it sing.
So you do work with the halfway houses?
Absolutely.
Okay, because we work with the halfway houses too.
Oh, really?
We've had
Okay.
great success with the halfway.
Oh, that's wonderful. Yeah. So most halfway house organizations in the Nashville area, their people come to us for job readiness. So it's a really great partnership because we intentionally don't do transitional halfway housing. Yeah.
Do you guys also partner with American Job Centers or the Workforce Development Board to help with training? Or people just go straight to jobs, or is there also a training element?
There's a possibility of that, but our folks are really needing to get to work. So we have good communication with the AJCs, and I used to be on the Workforce Development Board actually for a few years, but mostly we're just trying to get people to work. Now, having said that, we also run a couple of hard skills classes. We do a NACER certification in construction readiness. We partner with AGC and have a contractor who teaches that course for our people. We pay for them to get forklift if they want to. We run a hospitality and culinary class at our place with a chef, and they get certifications for that. But mostly our people are needing to get to work, and so the training thing, and a lot of our employment partners, frankly, say they want to train people on site, which is great.
Do you have any healthcare partners?
I don't believe so. In the service provision, we do. We have some really close, because we pay for people to get a medical exam, a dental exam, a vision exam, because they get out of prison, they need that.
Right.
And that's a part of job readiness. But in terms of staffing healthcare, we've had trouble with that.
Okay.
So, but we love to do it. Anyway. Yeah, I don't know, questions for either one of us?
I know, Bill, you mentioned that a key element is getting with your workforce and explaining what's going on with the program and the expectations. Do you guys provide material as well? Like if you did go, I think we actually, Yates,
Yes,
we're
sir.
working with y'all. And we've
I
had-
didn't want to out you, but yeah.
Yeah, and I just found out about this in the last few weeks, actually.
Oh, wow.
So we were looking at some other opportunities, and just because of lack of knowledge, and then it came out that Men of Valor is one of the ones we've been talking to, and they mentioned you guys,
Yeah.
and have had a good success rate with that. But the issue is, I've been here 23 years and had no idea.
Yeah.
And so what you said kind of spoke to me on that, but, you know, I think sometimes organizations do need that assistance to get that material, what that training might look like on that end. Do you guys provide that?
We've not, to my knowledge, I've been there for about 10 years, to my knowledge, we haven't been asked to do that, but I think it's a wonderful thing. And I think that what's happening more now for employers just generally is it used to be no or not now or a why would I, and now it's a how can I, and so I think that's exactly what you are asking. And so, I guess alongside that has been that, like you mentioning it here, and me not being, you know, I see your shirt, but I'm like not trying to say anything because we give employers the option to just like keep it under whatever wraps they want to keep it under, because I understand, we understand. So, but we would love the opportunity to do that. I mean, that would be, I can tell you, like we would run to that because I love what you're saying about how you meet with your employees, and I think that would be, we would love that. Yeah. That's really great. I think, because we're in Smyrna and we're also at Mount Juliet, so really have appreciated the partnership. Other questions for Bill or for me?
I just want to say, I mean, if you haven't tried it, you have to do it. I'm telling you, it is one of the best recruiting sources. It's one of the most underutilized recruiting sources out there. And people just have this stigma about people, they have a felony, or they have, and again, and I don't wanna push this, but you do get a tax credit. I mean, I just hired 4 felons. And they did their 90 days on the staffing service. But again, understand that a lot of those felons, they did their felonies, were drug related. They had felonies because they had drug issues. But they're in the halfway houses now. This is their second chance. This is their chance. And two, if they don't complete this program, they have to go back to prison. In this instance, it's a little different than yours. But, they're good people, and I've got some really good employees that are now up to skilled level, I have a union, but they're up to skilled, level, grades. I mean, they're good employees. Now, do I have some that get out of once they get out of the program, that go the wrong way and fail? Yeah, but I have other employees that do the same thing, but I just cannot sell this enough. It's a good program, you just got to give employees a chance. And my employees don't even pay attention to the company. I mean, and the reason why they know that they're coming from the halfway house, and the reason why they know that they've got criminal backgrounds is because the little van brings them every day, and the little van picks them up every day. But they are the most reliable employees that I have, because the little van brings them every day. And we even had to make a little bench for them, a little swing bench with a little top over it, because when they're waiting for the bus, that it rains, if it rains or something, they have somewhere to sit. So, I mean, it is good. It's a good thing to do. It's a good thing to try. I will say that my corporate office probably doesn't see the benefit. They do the tax benefit, and they love that, but they don't see the beauty in it like I do. But I think it's great.
That's amazing.
So, something to try. But there's not a lot out there. There's not a lot out there.
All right. Thank you, guys.
Thank you so much.